Russell Galipeau sat on a National Park Service boat on a pretty perfect day. The ocean was glassy and the sun was shining as they passed Santa Cruz Island heading to Santa Rosa, both part of the Channel Islands National Park. It was 2003 and he had just taken over the job as superintendent, moving from the mountains and trees of Yosemite to the remote, five-island park off Ventura. Galipeau turned to the marine biologist sitting next to him and joked, "If you were worth your weight as a marine biologist you would produce a whale." Next thing he knew, the engine cut off. A killer whale had glided up to the side of the boat. It was silent and all you could hear was the killer whale releasing air through the blowhole. Galipeau remembered. He turned back to the biologist. "Okay, you can keep your job." Russell Galipeau is shown pulling weeds on Santa Cruz Island. Photo, courtesy of Channel Islands National Park. On Friday, Galipeau, 59, retired after a 40-year career with the National Park Service. He spent the last 15 years as superintendent at Channel Islands, separated from the mainland by miles of ocean. Even for those who bridge that gap, half of the park sits underwater, the hardest learning curve here for any manager. Logistics, Galipeau said. It's all about logistics. Galipeau has worked in parks from Alaska to Florida and Kentucky to Ventura on projects from wolf control to island restoration. "I'm proud of the ecological restoration we did," Galipeau said of the work from re-establishing the landscape to bringing island foxes back from near extinction. The park includes 5 islands off the coast: Santa Barbara Island, the southernmost point of the park, Anacapa, Santa Cruz, Santa Rosa, and San Miguel, which has one of the biggest pinniped rookeries in the world. To friends, Galipeau is known for his cooking skills, said Kate Faulkner, who retired as Chief of Natural Resources Management at Channel Islands National Park in 2016. Gary Davis, a marine biologist, described him as curious, someone who loves adventures, and a wonderful storyteller. That's an essential part of the park superintendent's job, said Davis, who retired in 2007 as the chief ocean scientist overseeing the National Park Service's more than 70 aquatic sites. Galipeau said he can track his interest in the outdoors to his 9th grade science teacher. "He took us outside to do biology class," Galipeau said. "That really hooked me." He was 18 and working in street Augustine for the state of Florida across from the Castillo de San Marcos. When he made the move to the National Park Service, a ranger walked over and told me, "You could get paid more money if you wanted to do historic interpretation across the street at the old fort," Galipeau said. Soon after, he was doing living history for the agency. After college, he went to work at the Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. "It was still just a job back then," he said. By photo, California brown pelicans and western gulls soar above Scorpion Rock off the shore of Santa Cruz Island in the Channel Islands National Park. Photo, Anthony Plascencia, the star, but in off hours, he and a friend would go caving and talk. His friend knew a lot more about the history of the agency and why it was established. The more they talked, the more Galipeau got hooked. "It was the whole idea of looking at America and what makes America different," he said, but also how the decisions and work they did could protect the spaces for future generations. From there, being a biologist by training, he sought out positions managing natural resources. "I was always drawn to places that had some natural resources challenges," he said. Davis met Galipeau when he was leading some of the workshops and classes for park employees in a resource management training program. "I thought he stood out in the groups," Davis said. While scientists sometimes can be more introverted, Davis saw Galipeau as someone with the technical ability but also people skills. Galipeau did field work in the Everglades National Park and with a sea turtle program at Canaveral National Seashore. He also worked at a regional office working with small parks before heading to Alaska. His now wife, then girlfriend, was working in the Smoky Mountains. He was in Atlanta, and they decided to tie the knot, he explained. So they both went to work in Alaska together, and then on to Yosemite in the 1990s. While he oversaw Channel Islands, Faulkner said he led efforts to update an overdue general management plan and helped develop a partnership with CSU Channel Islands. The Camarillo University established a research station on Santa Rosa Island. By photo, Channel Islands National Park staff members and media representatives gather around a mammoth skull that was brought from Santa Rosa Island to Ventura Harbor in September of 2016. Photo, Juan Carlo, the star. If he could do it over again, Galipeau would have spent more time on the islands. I think that's a challenge of working here, he said. It's hard to leave the mainland responsibilities, but a leader also needs to be in the field and see what happens on the ground level. First up in retirement, Galipeau plans to head up to Alaska, where his wife, Margie Steigerwald, is working. But then he'll be back in Ventura County, where his youngest daughter, Maya, will start her junior year in high school next fall. His older daughter, Amy, teaches in Malibu. By photo, a mammoth skull excavated from Santa Rosa Island is unveiled at the Santa Barbara Museum of Natural History. The excavation team also include people from Channel Islands National Park and the Mammoth Site in South Dakota. Photo, Juan Carlo, the star. Galipeau also is thinking about teaching. He is working on a master's degree in natural resource policy through an online program with the University of Florida. He plans to stay involved in ocean conservation and managing natural resources, but this time, maybe he'll do that in a classroom. I want to tell my stories and I've got a few. Read or share this story. https://www.vcstar.com/story/news/special-reports/outdoors/2018/06/02/Galipeau-